Committee recommends that you, as a delegate to this Mississippi State AFL-CIO convention, and you, as an individual trade unionist, do the following things. Number one, that your international, wherever possible, put the union label on your product, in your shop, or on your services. Number two, that the Central Labor Union, which you belong to, establish an active union label committee to give help to the local unions in your area. Number three, your local union appoint a union label committee. Number four, your union label committee work to develop an educational program among your members to promote the union label. Number five, your local union committee carry on an educational program in the community in which you live to educate your fellow citizens on the use of the union label, button, or card. Number six, wherever there are auxiliaries or other organizations to which wives belong, that they can be encouraged to help in the fight of all organized labor by asking for the union label. Number seven, your committee recommends that the Mississippi State AFL-CIO request the Union Label Service Trade Department to put all Mississippi locals on its mailing list of the official news, so locals will have some new union label material to work with each month. Number eight, that every union label committee and you as an individual trade unionist undertake to call on retail stores and ask for union label goods, the union shop card, and union button. Number nine, that a copy of this report shall be sent to every affiliated union to be read and posted for the information of their members. Number 10, that you as an individual and as a dedicated trade unionist be forever mindful of the great American and union principle that united we stand, and only through unity that we will achieve our present goal, our great goal of raising the living standards of the workers of America. Don't let your dollar scab. Demand the union label. Respectfully submitted, Union Label Committee.
Mr. Chairman, the committee concurs on this report and moves for its adoption.
You've heard the committee's report. The motion is to adopt. We have a second. Do we have any discussion on the motion? Not all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed by the same sign. Now we have these people here that are going to give away the drawings, but before we go into that, it won't take but a few minutes, and we have a resolution that the Resolutions Committee handled, which I feel it would be very appropriate at this time to call that resolution up, because it in itself is very pertinent to the discussions that you've just had. And with that thought in mind, I'm going to call up the chairman of the Resolutions Committee and ask him to report on the resolution dealing with this racket newspaper that some of our people have been getting sucked in with. The chairman of the Resolutions Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The delegates will please locate resolution number 19. Number 19, submitted by the Executive Board. Subject, Union Publications. Whereas, from time to time, phony advertising schemes masquerading as so-called labor newspapers, buyer's guides, etc., are promoted by individuals whose sole purpose is their own financial gain, and whereas these promoters and solicitors resort to coercion, intimidation, misrepresentation, and high-pressure methods in the sale of advertising, which tactics reflect unfavorably and to the instrument of the organized labor movement. And whereas only those publications that bear the AFL-CIO Allied Printing Trades Council union label carry the assurance that all composition, press work, etc., in the production thereof was performed by union craftsmen having jurisdiction over their respective trades, and whereas a strict code of ethics has been established by the AFL-CIO International Labor Press Association, and all members must comply with the standards provided, and whereas officially recognized publication of the AFL-CIO are members in good standing of the International Labor Press Association and are permitted to print in their publications the official emblem of the AFL-CIO, ILPA, to designate their membership, and whereas any legitimate publication that meets the standards established by the International Labor Press Association may become a member, and whereas the AFL-CIO charters unions for the affiliation of news and editorial writers, and anyone performing the functions of editing or reporting for a so-called labor newspaper who is not affiliated with a union of this craft is infringing on the jurisdiction awarded to these AFL-CIO unions. Now therefore be it resolved that any so-called labor publication or advertising scheme of any nature that does not comply with the stipulations contained in this resolution does not have the approval of the Mississippi Labor Council, AFL-CIO, nor its affiliates. And be it finally resolved that the secretary of this council be instructed to have copies of this resolution printed and to mail a copy to, and we have inserted and corrected, added to the following language: mail a copy to all local unions in the state, also to anyone inquiring about labor advertising, and also to mail a copy to any and all advertisers in the publications coming to his attention that do not comply with the stipulations in this resolution. Mr. Chairman, the Committee on Resolutions concur in this resolution, and I recommend its adoption.
Thank you, Brother Taylor. We have a motion to adopt the committee's recommendation. Was it the number of the resolution? What was the number of that resolution? On resolution number 19, is there any discussion on the motion? Brother Bruton, you want it up here?
Mr. Chairman, Claude Bruton representing the CLU at Jackson, a member of the News Writers Local number 19982, also of the amalgamated, the International Motion Picture Operators Local. I want to talk on this resolution because it's something that I think that we all ought to be vitally concerned about. Sometime within the last 18 months, every central labor union and every building trades union or building trades council was sent a directive from the executive board of the AFL-CIO, which instructed those directly affiliated organizations not to endorse, nor to encourage, nor to lend aid or assistance to any so-called labor publication purported to be an official labor publication, and set out certain prerequisites which must be met before such a publication could be endorsed by your bodies. You had those directives because I received them as secretary of the CLU in Jackson. I've checked with other secretaries of CLUs and found that you also received them in other communities. That directive subsequently was given further qualification, and you were sent notice of that. It still barred your endorsement of the racket type of newspaper. But despite that, there are a number of organizations in the state of Mississippi which have ignored the instructions of the executive board, who have the authority to tell us as directly affiliated organizations what we can and what we cannot do. Despite those admonitions from the executive board, there is flourishing in this state today at the expense of bona fide labor publications and at the expense of bona fide organizations who are in affiliation to this organization, to various central bodies over the state, and to internationals who are in good standing to the parent AFL-CIO. You are depriving people who have ignored the directive from the AFL Executive Board, you're depriving these people of a means of livelihood. I hold in my hand a publication. I call it a publication to get it before you. 20 pages, purported to be a trade labor newspaper, stating that it is printed by organized labor for members of organized labor. It has a label in the masthead. And if anybody has taken time to check the official union labels that have been distributed and are available for distribution to all of the local unions from our union label department, you will find that this label belongs to an organization which has long since been expelled by the AFL-CIO. Local unions which formerly belonged to this organization are being prosecuted all through the North and through the East because of the racketeer element that is in them, which brought about their expulsion from the AFL-CIO. There is not a single label on this paper of a union that is in good standing with the AFL-CIO. It does not bear the typographical, the pressman, the Allied Printing Trades label, or the International Labor Press emblem. But despite that, on the second page of this publication, I find no less than 2 building constructions councils, 2 city central bodies, and a number of other large local unions who have representatives in this hall that have endorsed this publication and state it is your official publication. These pages contain ad after ad that will run from $25 per ad to $150 per ad, obtained from business people in your communities. The way this proposition is worked is this. One of these 4 men listed as operators of this publication, which is printed on the Gulf Coast, will appear before your local union with this gimmick. that if you endorse this publication as being your official publication, we will give to each of your members free subscription. This publication will be mailed to your members each month at their home. You buy that. With your endorsement, the advertising solicitors of this paper call upon the business people in your communities, and I know whereof I speak because I have been in some of the places immediately following them and have been asked certain questions by the proprietors of shops. But they will go into that merchant's place of business and tell him that we are the official representatives, press-wise, of local so-and-so in your community. And you're taking an ad in our publication shows your support of that organization. And the absence of an ad from you is an indication to the members of these organizations that you are not their friends, and they're using that as a sledgehammer to beat an ad and the price of an ad out of the merchants of your community. I can show you here page after page, double pages with nothing but ads. Better than $20,000 worth of ads in that one publication, which, were it channeled into the hands of a bona fide, recognized publication, chartered by the AFL-CIO, or representing affiliates chartered by the AFL-CIO in good standing, would make possible the employment of 3 to 5 full-time reporters to cover this state and give you a 6, 8, or 10-page weekly publication of bona fide trade union news. There's not one thing in this paper that promotes the cause of organized labor. Nowhere in this issue, 20 pages of it, will you find anything that solicits membership from anybody to join a trade union. And yet it's endorsed by some of the biggest organizations sitting in this body today. Some of you in direct violation to the directive that was sent to you by President Meany and the Executive Board. It's time you read your correspondence that comes across your desk. It's time you bodies, central labor unions and building trades councils, know that you are bound by the directive that is sent to you by the Executive Board. And this resolution is most pertinent at this time to bring about a recognition of the fact that this thing here ought to be unrecognized, unendorsed, and delegated where it belongs, to the trash pile. It's a scab outfit from the word go. The people that print it, the people that publish it, belong to no trade union, have made no application to any trade union for membership. And it's an insult to the intelligence of your membership to permit this thing to go on. Thank you.
Before we ask for further discussion, I want to clarify just a few things in connection with the resolution. After all, the resolution was presented by your executive board because we discovered what was going on, and we felt that this would be the appropriate place to call to your attention what this racket newspaper was all about. Now, I say Lithographers Union, mispronounce it of course, at one time was a member of the AFL-CIO. They were not expelled. It was simply a matter of a jurisdictional wrangle with a typographical union that caused that union to remove itself from the AFL-CIO. Now, the proposition that you have here is simply this, that a lot of our local unions, and in some cases possibly a central labor union or two, through ignorance, have been sucked into this proposition. This is simply a money-making proposition for these people, and a lot of our people are very anxious to get something into the hands of their people and in the hands of their friends as far as the publications was concerned. These people have approached them, have misrepresented the truth, and some of our people have got hooked with the proposition. We are not here to castigate you for your action. We simply want to show you what's going on and ask you to go back and correct the situation, give your executive board the authority to notify the people that have been patronizing this paper that it does not represent organized labor in this state. I just want to clear that up. Do we have any other discussion on the motion? Brother Taylor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to say just one other word on this resolution and to take just a minute to give you a little personal experience with this same publication. These people came to Columbus, Mississippi and appeared before the Building Trades Council and asked for the endorsement of the paper. The endorsement was not forthcoming. I'm saying this in order to show you that they are persistent people. They are as persistent as termites. They didn't get the endorsement of the Building Trades Council, but they made a side agreement with one of the affiliated local unions and did get a letter of recommendation and endorsement from this one local union. Then on the basis of that, they went to work in the town. They meant to cover the town and to sell a lot of advertisings to local people. Well, we found out that they were doing that. Then we took the further step of going to the president of the Retail Merchants Association and saying to these people, through the president of this association, that it was all right with us if they wanted to buy the advertisement, but we wanted to clarify the fact that they were not officially endorsed by the council. The pickings has not been too good in Columbus, Mississippi. I just wanted to relate that to you, to put you on guard. If you fail to give the endorsement, they don't give up. They will attempt to make a side agreement to get something official, something to go on, and in their operations they will not specifically state that they are endorsed by labor generally, but they will imply it, and the merchant and the prospective advertiser will get the idea, although he's tried to play it safe by not specifically so stating. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Brother Taylor. Do we have any further discussion? The motion's to adopt the resolution. I can assure you that if you adopt this resolution as president of this council, if I'm still president of this council, that this matter will not only be called to the attention of the press, but to the people that's buying advertising space in it as well. That's the best way to stop it, the people that's taking out the space. That's what they're after, is money. And if you put a proposition before them that you'll support a paper that carries a union label and takes advertising only from people that have a union shop card, then I'll assure you they'll leave you alone, because we've had that experience also. Are you ready for the question? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed by the same sign. Motion carried and so ordered. At this time, we'll start the giveaway program. You've heard the young lady up here before, and she has been very patient, even though she has business to take care of elsewhere. And I'm surprised that she hasn't chewed me out already about delaying her on this part of her program. But at this time, we're going to ask on Sister Moses to start her drawing for her suit or whatever it is that she wishes to give away at this time. Helen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wouldn't say I've been patient. I've enjoyed being here, but now I feel like I belong in Mississippi. I'd like to remind you people of what I said yesterday. Let your dollars work for you and not against you. Spend your union-made dollars for union-made goods and union services. Now, we will have a drawing first for a suit of clothes, because I'm quite sure whoever wins the suit does not mind not being in the box for the shirts. We will also give away a box of 3 white dress shirts. Now, my rules in this giveaway program, as our chairman called it, has always been the delegate must be in the hall, or the winner must be in the hall to win, unless he is on a convention business, in conference, in some kind of meeting pertaining to the convention business. Whoever wins the suit, meet me out front. I find out where he wants to buy the suit. We pay for it. He buys it himself. All we request that he must buy a suit with a union label in the pocket. Whoever wins the shirts, meet me out front. I must have his correct size and mailing address. They will be mailed direct to them. I would like to ask one of our distinguished guests if they would do the drawing. I promised this suit to so many people, and I got a bid up to $25, that I wouldn't dare pull the ticket out. And I'd like to ask Esther Murray, would she come up and draw these tickets for us? I'm going to ask someone else to shake them up, and we won't look.
There you are.
Well, let's see. Not going to do it. Nick Banana.
Really? I'll tell you what, this is the first time we've been together at so many of these conventions, and this is the first time out front I said to Joe, have you put it in the box? He says, no. I said, well, I've never done it. Let me try it. So I'm going to donate it back and pull again.
Really, many men wouldn't do that. So that ought to make you people think again. Always look for the union label.
L-C-G-E-S-C, G-E-S-A, it looks like to me. Yes, sir?
Be too bad if we can't read it.
That's the local 1359. Maybe the local delegate can pronounce the name. That's L.C. Gosa?
Well, you're the proud winner of the suit. Now for the shirts. Steve Kroll.
Crow. Yes, there's Steve Knoll, international rep.
Steve Noel. You have the shirts. Congratulations. Thank you again. And thank you, Esther.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Sister Moses. Now we'll ask the ILG group here to proceed with the rest of their program. I believe the young lady or Nick, somebody's going to have it.
All right. We're going to give 4 dresses away, and Before I do that, though, Joe Jacobs puts me, if he speaks before me, he makes it impossible for me to follow him. But if he follows me, there's a lot of unanswered questions that he raises in my mind. He's such a good speaker. The question is this, Joe. You say, because you're a grandfather, you can look for the label. I want to know one thing. When a wife becomes a grandmother, then is it all right? Does she let you look for that label? I mean, is that the trick? Okay. All right, our girls are not, the girls that have been working out there, this young lady here, Joyce Stito from Poplarville, Mississippi, one of our delegates, and the other one who's too ashamed, Miss Voss back there, she's too ashamed to even come up here. I don't know, she's been working so hard out front. But they're not eligible to win anything, so we think it's all right to let them pull the names out of here. All we need is the dress size after we pull your name. Now, I tell you, we run into problems on this thing because we had some fellow, I think it was in South Carolina, won the dress, but he didn't know his wife's size. So he said, well, give me a couple of hours and I'll come back with the size. I'll look around for something that's about my size, the size of my wife. So he came back about 2 hours later. He said, put size 12 down. Well, about 3 or 4 days later, we get an airmail special delivery letter in Atlanta saying, so sorry, but it's really size, well, it was about twice as big, but so all we need is the size, gentlemen. And if you don't know, you can mail it on into us. I'll go, pick 4 of them out, Joyce, please. Here, will you shake them up, Ms. Murray? Are you in the thing? No. Oh, okay, you go ahead. Just one at a time. Okay, run them. Joe, I can't make that last name. Culpepper, Raymond, Mississippi, United Rubber Workers, 363. Right. Go ahead. Could you meet us outside to give us the size on that thing? B.R. Upton, 732 Wingfield Street, Jackson. Okay. W.L. Franks, 405 Spencer Street, United Papermakers, Monroe, Louisiana. Is he? He's not here? Well, we'll pull again then. I see. Okay. L.A. Dunaway, Mobile, Alabama. Is that? Is that right? Would they just get? May Tynes, Tylertown, Mississippi, Amalgamated Clothing Workers. That would have really looked rigged if I'd have won the suit and then we'd have given a dress to the Amalgamated, huh? C.A. Dugas, Lake Charles, IBEW, Lake Charles, Louisiana. Is he gone? One more. Okay. Oh, no, this is really something, believe me. Will you read this? Hazel Moses. She says no. Okay, Hazel. We had it fixed, but with all these investigations and laws and whatever, and lawyers yet, we got. F.M. Doswell, Pascagoula, Boilermakers, 693. Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Nick. All right, Joe. Now the hat. We'll let the girls have a hat, I guess. The men all got the dresses, okay?
We're going to draw first for 3 cloth hats and then for 3 caps. We'd like to ask Sister Murray if she would do the drawing.
Say so.
First 3 are cloth hats. I have to put my specs on. I told you I was a grandpa. Donald Woodall, United Paper Workers, Natchez, Mississippi. We've got his size on it too, 7 1/4. D.C. Hendricks, plumber, 619, Vicksburg, Mississippi. Margaret Hicks, IWA, Meridian, Mississippi. Is that the woodworkers? Now, those are the 3 hats, and these are the caps now. T.T. Odom, Laborers Union, New Orleans, Louisiana. Not here. Not here? He'll have to go bald-headed for the rest of his life. Wears a cap, he won't get bald-headed. Robert Touchstone, International Representative, Meat Cutters Union. Is he here? Shame on him. He talked to me yesterday and told me he needed a cap. J.T. Cash, Communication Workers, Gulfport, Mississippi. Is it? How about it? Is he here? Okay, fine. Let's see, that's 1 cap. Ray Smithart. Now, you know, that's fixed sure enough. He gets a cap. If he has his hair cut by a union barber, he won't get dandruff either when he wears our caps. Here's the final cap. Bobby Long, Machinist Union, Clarksdale, Mississippi. Thank you very much. Now, I noticed that I believe Bobby is the only one who hasn't put his size on. Margaret Hicks doesn't have a size. You'll have to talk with me, and we'll see which of her men folks she wants to have get that one. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, Joe. It looks to me like while you was rigging this thing, you could have rigged it in my favor a little bit. I've been asked to announce that the election committee has been requested to meet with Jack Gager, chairman of the Credentials Committee, in back of the stage here. Right now, Jack wants to go over some of the things with you. Is the chairman of the Social Security Committee around? I had him up here, and I guess he gave me out and decided I wasn't going to get to him. Chairman of the Social Security Committee here? Here he comes. We'll take up the Social Security Committee's report at this time. That's right. That's you second it. Okay. Brother O'Neill, Secretary of the Social Security Committee. Brother O'Neill.
This is Homer L. O'Neill from Local 569, Pascagoula, Mississippi, Carpenter. Resolution number 13, submitted by the Executive Board on Social Security. Whereas the heavy cost of severe or prolonged illness is stripping away from millions of retired workers the old age protection they earn through the Social Security system, and whereas Social Security pension, which average $114 a month for a retired couple, are meager under the best of circumstances. They cannot begin to meet the high medical expenses, and whereas private commercial health insurance is of little help, it costs too much and pays too little to serve the needs of pensioners, and whereas the retired worker stricken by illness has only two alternatives: to seek public assistance, in other words, to go on relief, or to plead for help from his children or grandchildren. Neither alternative is in keeping with the concept of independent, dignified, earned retirement on which our Social Security system is founded. Whereas it is a moral outrage to permit the last years of retired workers to be blighted by the crushing cost of illness. This is especially so when a sound workable remedy is available, and whereas the foreign bill, H.R. 4700, now before Congress, offers a substantial measure of relief against medical disaster for the aged. It would pay the full cost of 60 days of hospital care for persons eligible for old age and survivors benefits, and it would meet the cost of combined nursing home and hospital care up to 120 days a year. Certain surgical expenses are also included. And whereas this program would be a part of the Social Security system using the existing records, it would be paid for through the Social Security system at a maximum cost of $12 a year per worker. Thus, the program would be financed by all those who might someday need it. The basic principle of sound insurance, and whereas the adoption of this program would not only bring essential and richly deserved assistance to retired workers, but would relieve states and municipalities of a financial burden which should not, in justice, be imposed upon them. A heavy proportion of the free care now provided by public institutions is extended to pensioners who should not be forced to seek it. Now, therefore, be it resolved that we heartily endorse the foreign bill and urge Congress to enact it without delay. And we commend the foreign bill to the governing bodies of our state, counties, and municipalities, and suggest that for both practical and humanitarian reasons, they join in pressing for its adoption. And be it further resolved that we call upon our senators and congressmen, in particular, to give active support to this essential measure, and instruct our officers to solicit this support from them. That is signed by the committee, and we wish to ask the body to concur with the resolution.
You've heard the committee's report. The motion is to adopt Resolution 13. We have a second on the motion. We have any discussion on the motion?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to
Hannah.
amend that motion or the resolution to a final resolve, instructing the office to send copies of this resolution, it don't specifically say so, to the congressmen and senators of the United States Senate from Mississippi.
How would you like to amend it, Brother Hannah?
Just put a final resolve
Be it
that
final
copies
resolve?
of this resolution, be it final resolve that copies of this resolution be sent to the senators and congressmen from the state of Mississippi.
Everybody understands what you're talking about, so I'll just make a couple of notes here for the record, so we'll amend it that fashion. You've heard the amendment offered by Brother Hannah. We have a second to that motion. We have any discussion on the amendment?
Mr. Chairman, I would discuss it just to this extent. I think that there's too many resolutions like this, and waging our resolutions and other that is of vital interest to us, and we just give it lip service. When we adopt it in this convention, we go home and forget about it. And we got to do more than that to get action. I would just love to see the hands of any individual in this organization that has either wrote to the senators and congressmen on the minimum wage or to the committee on the particular bill or the foreign bill. I, for one. You see, we need a lot more work done on it. Thank you.
Okay, Brother Hannah. Any further discussion on the amendment? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed? On the amended motion, do we have any discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed? Motion carried and so ordered. Okay. Brother O'Neill.
I want to offer a motion now that this Committee on Social Security be released.
The committee has requested to be released. Its brothers offered a motion to that effect. Do we have any discussion on this motion? Not all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried and so ordered. The committee is discharged with the thanks of the convention. We have a few minutes yet that we can use. We still have quite a few committee reports yet to complete. I'm going to see if I can find one that's not too controversial. If we can get rid of some 15 minutes. Oh, Brother Bruton, are you in a position to complete your report? Brother Bruton, chairman of the Legislative Committee. Hey, George. You come on up here behind here. Come on up here and sit down so I can see you. Brother Bruton, chairman of the Legislative Committee.
Mr. Chairman, brothers and sisters, we have two resolutions, one of which you have in your folder, and another here which we had mimeographed late yesterday afternoon, and if we could get the Sergeant at Arms to distribute it to you, you can have it before you by the time we're through with resolution number 7. Unfortunately, the little lady cutting the stencil said she couldn't count any higher than 20, so she called this resolution number 20 when in fact it should be resolution number 21. So when you get the resolution, you'll find at the top it's resolution number 20 submitted by the Legislative Committee, and if you'll write in and correct that and make it resolution number 21, that'll give you your resolutions in their proper numerical order. So if we could get this distributed to the delegates, why, they'll have it in hand. The first resolution is resolution number 7. It's a rather lengthy resolution. It was submitted by the Executive Board, and the subject matter dealt with is the economic policy. In spite of Mississippi's great wealth and God-given resources, the state and its citizens continue to lag far behind the national averages in almost every area of the economy. And whereas poverty exists in the midst of wealth and hunger, in the midst of plenty, unemployment continues almost unabated with little hope of alleviation without radical changes in the economic structure of the state. And whereas although Mississippi ranks high among the states in what it produces and adds to the basic wealth of the nation, it ranks a low 50 among the states in per capita income. And whereas as a direct result of this low economic ability, coupled with low tax effort, the state's services suffer. Roads, schools, public institutions, and other state services rank among the lowest in the nation, thus making the state unattractive to industry, tourists, and others who, in view of Mississippi's abundance of natural wealth, would find the state an attractive and inviting place. And whereas, in short, Mississippi's wealth has been exploited and exported by selfish short-sighted outside interest with little regard for the effect upon the state and its people. And whereas the paradox of poverty and unemployment in the midst of recognized abundance calls for direct, forceful, and effective action, now therefore be it resolved that this fourth annual convention of the Mississippi Labor Council, AFL-CIO, reaffirm actions previously taken on issues of vital economic importance to the citizens of Mississippi and sum up its objectives as follows. 1, immediate revision of the state's regressive soak-the-poor tax structure in order to redistribute the tax burden and provide adequate revenues to improve every facet of public service. 2, passage of a state minimum wage and hour law and improved prevailing wage law and a state labor relations act, each of which will raise the per capita income of the state's workers and place more purchasing power in the hands of the people. 3, passage of an improved unemployment compensation law to assure workers an adequate subsistence during periods of unemployment and provide a cushion for the state's economy during periods of low economic activity. 4, passage of an improved workman's compensation law that will replace a greater proportion of wages lost by the thousands of wage earners injured on the job each year. And 5, the passage of legislation that will conserve, utilize, and develop our God-given natural resources and wealth to the benefit of the state and its citizens. 6, the child labor laws of this state are antiquated, having been enacted in 1924, and said laws should be amended and brought up to date to conform to modern concepts. 7, legislation should be enacted by the Mississippi legislature to ensure women workers in this state equal pay for comparable work. 8, legislation should be enacted to restrict the use of the injunction in legislation concerning labor disputes. 9, the legislature of the state of Mississippi should enact legislation to permit the enforcement by state courts of the arbitration provisions of collective bargaining contracts. 10, legislation should be enacted to prevent municipal governments from enacting ordinances restricting the organization of workers. 11, the organized labor movement in Mississippi should take all steps necessary to ensure the repeal by Congress of Section 14B of the National Labor Relations Act and to discourage free riders. 12, the apportionment laws under the 1890 Constitution of Mississippi are antiquated and not having been changed or amended since then should be reapportioned by the state legislature in the 1962 session or by a constitutional convention. 13, the absentee vote law as it stands now is unjust and unfair and should be amended to conform with the law as it was prior to 1956. 14, legislation should be enacted to repeal the poll tax law. 15, legislation should be enacted to change the election day from Tuesday to Saturday. Be it further resolved that every affiliate and the public be apprised of this program and be urged to support and work for its final enactment. The Legislative Committee has considered this resolution. We concur in its intent and purpose and move you its adoption.
You've heard the committee's report. The motion is to adopt the resolution. We did have a second. Do we have any discussion on the resolution?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to...
State your name and local, please.
J.B. Hanna, Executive Board.
Hello, Hannah.
I would move an amendment to this resolution. If I can get a second, I'd like to discuss and point out the amendment.
Well, let's have it. Amendment, what's your amendment? You get a second, you're privileged to speak on it.
Yes, sir.
Have your amendment.
Just give me a minute. Mr. Chairman, this came from the Executive Board, reiterating our position on the legislative program that was adopted following Resolution A, an overall resolution covering these different issues. I would like to amend the resolve, now therefore be it resolved that this fourth annual convention of the Mississippi Labor Council, AFL-CIO, reaffirms action previously taken. Now, when are we talking about? This was adopted last year at its third, right there at following taken, at its third annual convention, 1959, or the year 1959, on issues and then following issues encompassed in Resolution A of vital economic importance to, it would read, see,
Okay.
it would read with that amendment that now, therefore, be it resolved that this fourth annual convention of the Mississippi Labor Council, AFL-CIO, reaffirms action previously taken at its third annual convention in 1959 on issues encompassed in Resolution A of vital economic importance to the citizens of Mississippi and some of its legislative objectives as follows.
We got it. You did have a second, I believe, to your amendment.
Yes, sir.
You'd like now to speak on it.
Well, I just think it would be appropriate to make it clear why and where and what we are reiterating, because we want to use this legislative program. We may not have to print more, but to let them know that we adopted what we think is a good program, and there's no need of going into a lot more resolutions where there's a lot of these issues, and I point to one that I want to talk about, that only one that we've been successful in getting any consideration or any form of a bill passed and made into a law.
We understand what you're talking about, Brother Allen.
Mr. Chairman, the gentleman's resolution is, his amendment is clarifying, and I think be well for it to be adopted and put into the resolution.
I have one other request or amendment, Mr. Chairman.
Let's dispose of the first one, the one you offered.
Okay.
It'll be a simple matter. We have any further discussion on the amendment? Clarifying amendment? That's all it is a clarifying amendment. Not all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried and so ordered. Now on the amended motion, do we have further discussion?
Gotta have another amendment, Brother Ramsey.
Okay, Brother Hannah.
In the A resolution that was adopted last year, in the fourth whereas, the subject matter covered under outline number 5 here has been, there has been a bill and a plan introduced and a commission created for an industrial research and a research center and a commission appointed by the governor. So I would suggest that we delete number 5. We at least don't want some of the legislators to say, well, we adopted one platform of it and you're still reiterating your position. So I think that we ought to give them a chance to see what they're going to do with this commission, and if they don't do it, then we can get up here and criticize and give them hell a year from now.
We will ask the delegates to go into their kits now in order that you can clearly understand what the brother's amendment's about. On the folder you have, on the program adopted at the last convention.
If you would like, I would read it.
Well, let's give them a little time to get it out. They can better follow you that way. What page is it on?
It's on page 4, top of the page.
Page 4.
Yes.
Now, your motion to amend the resolution is what again, stated again, so we'll have it.
Is to delete number 5 because that is the only item or issue covered in Resolution A that this legislature and the governor has given any consideration. Of course, it's doubtful to me why I give it. I think he's really interested in helping the big boys instead of us.
Delete number 5 on which page?
On your resolution, number 5, where it says passage the passage of legislation that will conserve, utilize, and develop our God-given natural resources and wealth for the benefit of the state and its citizens.
Your amendment is to delete number 5 on the resolution itself.
Yes, sir, because we recognize the fact that they have made an attempt to create a commission, educational, industrial, and research commission, which we think would cover that.
Well, of course, that would be a matter of opinion as to whether or not the job that was requested by the resolution has been accomplished. I can see what you're attempting to do here, say that something has been done in this direction, right?
Yes, sir, such a little bit, but let's give them a chance, and if they don't do better, we'll give them hell next time.
All right. You've heard the amendment. The amendment is to delete item 5 from resolution number 7. We did have a second. Do we have any discussion now on that motion? Are you ready for the question? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed? The motion seems to have carried. Do we have any further discussion now on the motion as amended? If not, all in favor of the amended motion signify it by saying aye. All opposed by the same sign. Motion carried and so ordered. Brother Bruton.
Now, if you will take the last resolution that was handed out, which I ask you to renumber number 21. The resolution comes from the Legislative Committee, and the subject matter of it is the support of the crusade for economic equality for U.S. employees. Whereas the average salary of government employees is far below the cost of living, and whereas while the cost of living and salaries in private enterprise have increased 30%, government employees have only increased 10%. And whereas 2 salary bills that were vetoed by the present administration has caused skilled government workers to be $18 a week below what Secretary of Labor James P. Mitchell has quoted as take-home pay for an average worker in private enterprise. And whereas these employees are not allowed bargaining power but must depend upon congressional legislation, and whereas such legislation is now pending before Congress in the Morrison Bill, House Resolution 9883, and whereas the AFL-CIO Government Employees Council has endorsed and strongly favors House Bill 9883, now therefore be it resolved that this convention go on record as endorsing and supporting the pay increase for U.S. government employees as embodied in House Resolution 9883, and be it further resolved that a letter be sent by the Secretary of this Council to all Mississippi senators and congressmen requesting them to support House Resolution 9883, and be it finally resolved that all delegates be requested to write their congressmen and senators in support of this legislation. Your committee recommends the adoption of this resolution.
You've heard the committee's report. The motion is to adopt. Do we have any discussion? I heard a
J.B. Hanna, Executive Board, Mr. Chairman. I think again there we need, as a matter of clarification, that there should be that this Mississippi Labor Council convention, because down in the bottom you only refer to officers of the Secretary of the Council of that the Secretary of this council, and you don't have anywhere in it mentioned in the Mississippi Labor Council. All you have is AFL-CIO in connection with the government employees. I think it should be set forth specifically that this is the Mississippi Labor Council, and you might even add in its 4th annual convention.
Would this be sufficient, Brother Hanna? Might say that that's clearly an oversight, but this is the convention of the 4th AFL-CIO Labor Council. And the first resolve, now therefore be it resolved that this convention that this fourth convention of the AFL-CIO State Labor Council go on record. Would that be sufficient?
Mr. Chairman, I think that the Mississippi Labor Council should go, since we're affiliated with it, and the affiliation always comes behind whatever central body, local union, or international union they have. So I think it should be Mississippi Labor Council, AFL-CIO.
This would be the way that it would read. Now therefore be it resolved that this fourth convention of the Mississippi Labor Council, AFL-CIO, go on record as endorsing.
It's okay.
Then I move.
As far as I'm concerned, thank you.
Then I move the adoption of that amendment, Mr. Chairman.
You've heard the amendment to the resolution. We're having a discussion. Not all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried and so ordered. In connection with this resolution, I want to make a simple statement. You have just adopted a resolution that concerns a group of people, and quite a few of them are in trade unions within the state of Mississippi. We have one local union in that state, in this organization, that is affiliated with this labor council. I'd like to say this to you, that as good trade unionists, we are all interested in the uplifting of the economic conditions of all of our people, and by adopting this resolution, I think that is proof enough. And I'd like to ask each and every one of you, when you go back to your communities, to call this to the attention of those people, that they certainly should belong to this organization of all organizations, because it's only here that those people can secure any justice at all. They don't have the right of a picket line. I just wanted to clarify the situation. All right, now, on the motion that was presented to you, you have the amended motion before you. Do we have any further discussion? I said you had adopted it. You just adopted the amendment.
You hadn't adopted it, have you?
No, just the amendment.
One question. Is there any possible way of us getting some addresses of these employees that we're talking about and let them know that we're taking this? I would request that that be included in this final resolve, too.
Certainly, we'll see that they get the information. Are you ready for the question? All in favor of the amended motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried and so ordered.
Mr. Chairman, that completes the Legislative Committee's report, and we ask to be excused by the convention.
Mr. Chairman, J.B. Hanna of the Executive Board, I make a motion that we relieve this committee with a vote of thanks for a job well done.
You've heard the motion to discharge the committee with thanks. Is there any discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carried and so ordered. We have the chairman of the officers' report committee here. It won't take but a few minutes to get his, and if we can sit here just a few minutes and get his report, then in the afternoon session we can pretty well wrap it up on the Resolutions Committee and the Constitution and Bylaws, who yet have a few to report. At this time, I'll recognize Brother George Davis, Chairman of the Officers' Report Committee.
This is the shortest report you've heard, delegates, that we, the members of the Officers' Report Committee, being duly appointed by the President of the Mississippi Labor Council to study the year's activities of the officers, submit to the General Assembly the following report. We find after much careful study and thought that the officers of this council have fully met their responsibilities as set forth in the Constitution of the Mississippi Labor Council, AFL-CIO. Your committee desires to commend the entire officers' force and the Mississippi Labor Council in carrying out all phases of the activities assigned to each officer. We further wish to commend each and every individual that has had a part in the planning and carrying out the program of this convention. Respectfully submitted, George Davis, Sarah Rutledge, Harmon McGee, H.E. Kuhn, John D. Griffin. We move that the report be accepted and the committee be discharged.
You've heard the committee's report. The motion is to adopt and that the committee be discharged. We have any discussion on the motion? I did hear a second. I say I did. Any discussion? Not all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed by the same sign. Motion carried and so ordered. With that report, we will not ask any other committees to report until after the lunch hour. Do we have any announcements to be made? Let me check around, see if I've overlooked anything that I've been requested to announce. I don't believe I have. I'd like to call your attention simply to this fact that we have asked the Sergeant at Arms to distribute around to the delegates this morning a copy of the fact sheet. I don't have one here. The fact sheet that the chairman of the Young Democrat group presented here to us the other night. We had quite a few people that did not have the pleasure or couldn't get out and be with us that night. And we felt that you should also receive this information because of its vital importance. We would like to ask you to examine this information very carefully. And if you feel that you can use other copies, the council would be happy to prepare a mimeograph form and run off copies of it before you leave the convention. Because it's here, as I pointed out to you at that meeting that night, that we began the election of a president of the United States. And it's at these precinct elections that you can make your voice felt the most effective. It's something that all of us should participate in, and I regret very much that we didn't have our full convention present when we went into this project. Again, I want to stress the importance of it and see if we can't get in here and do a little something about it this time. If we have no announcements, do we have any announcements? Brother over here. The dates are not mentioned there, of course, because that is set by the state committee itself, and the date has been set already for May the 9th. So that is the date on May the 9th, and you'll have to watch the newspapers, so forth, for the time. Ordinarily, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. We have any other announcements? The brother over here had held up his hand. Do you have an announcement to make? Just do you want to know about the time? Clarify the time. I mean the date. The date is May the 9th. And Mr. Higgs here says it is 10 o'clock. The time is 10 o'clock in the morning. May the 9th, 10 o'clock in the morning. Do we have any announcements? I've been notified or told here that someone down at the hotel said something about checking out at 2 o'clock. During the noon hour, I'll check with that situation and let you know something as soon as possible. Now, I wouldn't get too disturbed about it right now if I was you. Yeah, okay. We'll see what can be done about that. Do we have any other announcements? If not, we'll stand recessed for lunch and reconvene back here according to the printed agenda. I don't have one right here.
Thank you very much. I hope that this will be of some help.
Hey, Sergeant at Arms, please ask the delegates to come inside, please. Convention will be in order. I hope all of you have got your politicking ready and you're ready to get down and finish the business at hand. I want to make a statement before we begin this afternoon's session that according to the rules, according to the Constitution, the election of officers is set at 2 o'clock on the third day. Now, we have some business yet to come before the convention, and it will take longer than the 15 minutes that we've got. If you want to take care of the business of this convention prior to the election of officers, then it will be necessary to suspend the rules in order to do so. I merely mention that fact because I felt like you might want to wait until the last thing to elect the officers, thereby not having the business left after that.
Mr.
Chair
Chairman,
recognizes Brother Bruton.
I move you, sir, in view of the fact that several of the committees have not made their reports final, and in view of the fact that there might be one or two items that should be taken up, that we suspend the rules at this time and proceed with the business and then take up the election of officers at the completion of the business.
We have a motion that the rules be suspended and that we take up the convention business prior to the election of officers. We have a second to that motion. It will require a 2/3 vote of the convention to suspend the rules and not a simple majority. Do we have any discussion on that motion? Are you ready for the question? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed? Motion. One no. Not quite by unanimous vote. Do we want a division of the House? Then the rules have been suspended. We will now continue with the business at hand with the understanding that there will still be some business that cannot be performed until after the election of officers. In other words, we will complete the committee reports and things of that kind with the understanding that after the election of officers, that we will go into the selection of a convention site, give the obligation of officers, and wind up the convention affairs in that fashion. I just want to clarify the situation because we can't do it all before the election of officers. All right, at this time, I'm going to recognize the chairman of the Constitution and Bylaws Committee, inasmuch as he only has a little bit of business left, and after that we'll take up the good chairman of the Resolutions Committee who has been so patient, Brother Doggett.
Mr. Chairman, delegates to this convention, the Constitution and Bylaws Committee had read our last resolution, which was 1A. That a motion was made here and passed to table that resolution yesterday afternoon, and that would conclude our business.
Mr. Chairman.
Brother Goodman.
Wayman Goodman, Executive Board Member.
Before I let you have the floor, it was my understanding that the committee did have another resolution, possibly to report yet, but could have been they took that one up while I was outside yesterday, so with that explanation, I'll recognize you and give you the floor. Okay, Brother Goodman.
I would at this time, Mr. Chairman, like for us to look at the resolution that we have on the table. I would like to make a motion that we take that resolution from the table for this convention's consideration. I feel that the resolution has extreme merit. It is a resolution that is of the betterment of this organization, and I would like for us to take it back and give it some consideration. And I so move.
Brother Goodman has offered a motion that Resolution 1A, is that the name of it, number of it?
That is correct.
That Resolution 1A be taken from the table. Now, the motion to take from the table is not debatable. We have a second on that motion? Are you ready for the question? All in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. All opposed?
No.
The motion is carried and so ordered. We then will ask the chairman of the Resolutions Committee to read Resolution 1A again in order that it'll be fresh on your mind, and we'll begin from that point. It's the property of the convention yet. I'm not asking him to move to adopt it or anything, just to read it for you. Before we do that, I have a note here that Brother David Oakes has a long-distance telephone call, and I imagine you can take it out front at that phone. They didn't tell me what phone. Is it out front? Is Brother Oakes here? Is David here? David Oakes? If someone sees Dave, tell him that there's a phone call for him out there. Okay. How's that? Okay. All right, the Brother Doggett will read the resolution for you in order to be fresh in your mind.
Resolution 1A, submitted by Jackson County Central Labor Union, subject conventions. Whereas the number of conventions and meetings necessary to carry on our international, national, and state labor organization business is increasing, and whereas the cost of participating in said meetings and conventions is a continuing and increasing burden upon the resources of the local unions, and whereas each local union would also benefit from a 2-year convention by reduction of the expenses of delegates each alternate year, and whereas the value of planning and pursuing that plan for longer than a 1-year period being recognized, and whereas the need of participation in the legislative and political program of our state being necessary, and whereas it is our firm belief that our state labor council can be operated more efficiently and effectively on a 2-year basis as opposed to a 1-year basis, and whereas the savings to the State Labor Council's resources resulting from a 2-year convention would be a tremendous amount, and whereas there is an established meeting of the state group other than the State Labor Council Constitutional Convention for the purpose of legislative and political activity, now therefore be it resolved that the delegates to this regular convention change the Constitution and bylaws of the Mississippi Labor Council so that Article 4, Section 1 shall read. And if you want a moment to get your Constitution and bylaws where you can look on as I read the changes. Line 4, page 7 is the beginning. Line 4, page 7, instead of annually, it shall be biannually. After April, add May. Change 1958 to 1960. Line 9, page 7, word later, change to less. Change February 1st to 60 days. Be it further resolved that a new Section 1A be added to Article 4 immediately following Section 1 of the Constitution and bylaws to read as follows. The Executive Committee of the Mississippi Labor Council shall call an educational legislative conference during the year when there is no regular Constitution convention of the Council at the most appropriate time they deem necessary. be it finally resolved that this constitutional change be made effective immediately upon adoption. Mr. Chairman, the committee concurs in this resolution, and I move you that it be adopted.
Mr. Chairman,
Just a minute. It wasn't necessary for the motion to be made, as I pointed out earlier. Appreciate it anyway, Otis, that the resolution had already been presented to the convention and that the motion had been made to adopt it. We got into the parliamentary woods yesterday on the question. We wound up with it on the table. And there's a technical point involved. Before we get into the woods again, I want to clarify something. There's a technical point involved on the question strictly, and that's simply this, as to whether or not this convention has got the authority at this time to change the Constitution. Now, the convention yesterday upheld me in my ruling that the resolution was in order. I further contend that if you feel still today that you have that authority, then the proper approach to this question is to change the title of the resolution, refer it back to the committee, and make it a committee's recommendation, and you'll be out of the woods with it. Now, that's where you are with it. Okay, Brother Bond.
Mr. Chairman, it was my desire to ask if a motion was necessary to just that point.
A motion to refer this back to the committee with instructions will be in order.
I move that this resolution want to be referred back to the committee for that technical correction.
Do we have a second to that motion? You've heard the motion and the second. Do we have any discussion on the motion? Brother Bruton.
Mr. Chairman and delegates, I believe, if I understand the chair's suggestion and the motion that has now been made and before the body, is that this resolution be referred back to the committee for some technical correction, which, as you say, would get us out of the parliamentary woods. I don't know what is meant by that, in that I wasn't here on Monday afternoon when part one of this resolution was approved by the convention. I believe the Constitution of this body speaks for itself in clear language which is unmistakable. If you will turn to Article 12 of the Constitution, which is on the back page, setting out the parliamentary authority and amendments and the order in which amendments can be made to the Constitution. Section 2 of that article reads as follows. This Constitution may be amended by any regular convention, comma, or by any special convention called for that purpose, comma. And that purpose would mean a special call convention for the purpose of amending the Constitution by 2/3 of the votes cast. Now, this is the controlling language. All proposed amendments shall be submitted in writing and properly certified to by the secretary of an affiliated organization, comma, by the executive committee, comma, or by the general executive board not later than February the 1st, period. Copies of all proposed amendments shall be mailed to each affiliated local union by February the 15th, period. No matter where they may emanate from, they shall be submitted by February 1st, with copies submitted to all of the affiliated organizations to this council by February 15th. The Convention Constitution Committee shall be vested with authority to propose any amendment it deems proper. Resolution 1A now before this body says that it was submitted by the Jackson Central Labor Union. It bears no date as to its action by that body in an official capacity, nor what date it was submitted to the office of the Secretary of this convention. In reading that resolution, you must of necessity refer back to resolution number 1, which is in the prepared folder, and it's immediately seen that resolution number 1 in this folder was subdivided, made into resolution number 1 and resolution number 1A, number 1 having been approved on Monday afternoon. As Secretary of the Jackson Central Labor Union and as Secretary of the News Writers Local, I received no such copy of resolution number 1 as contained in this folder by February the 15th, 1960. I have checked with numbers of other officers of local unions in the hall today and find that their local unions did not receive copies of this proposal by February 15th, 1960. As I understand the reason for the language in the Constitution as it is presently set out, that it would at all times keep within the framework of the local unions control as to what manner and by what method and in what procedure the Constitution of this convention would be amended from session to session, and that by submitting proposed changes to the Constitution and bylaws to be of record in the office of the State Labor Council on February 1st, that those would then be submitted back to all affiliated local unions by February the 15th, which would give those organizations from that time until the convening of this convention time to study and time to determine if it was the wishes of the affiliated bodies that such constitutional changes be made in our Constitution. You're not traveling on the previous question, I don't believe, Mr. Chairman. I say I don't think the previous question's been moved, sir, to limit debate.
If you want to contend that the rules themselves to operate on has been suspended, then you'd be correct. That's all.
We suspended the rules, Mr. Chairman, when we delayed the election of officers.
Well, go ahead. We'll clarify that, too.
So it's my contention to you brothers and to you sisters that inasmuch as your local unions were never tendered these proposals, that you have not considered them between February 15th and this date.
Mr. Chairman, I rise to a point of order.
State your point of order, brother. Your name, local number.
This is Wayne Flint, Local Union 407, Pascagoula, Mississippi. In a suspension of the rules in the convention, you are not suspending your parliamentary procedure rules, but merely the handling of your business.
I notified Brother Bruton that he had 1 minute left. Now, you have just voted to suspend the rules. Now, if you included in that suspension the rules that your committee presented to you here, along with the rules to elect officers and so forth, then Brother Bruton can speak all night. But we'll go into that when the convention sees fit. But I just called his attention to the fact that he had 1 minute to go until the 5 minutes was up. Now, if you want to abide by these rules until we go back into the election of officers, all right with me. But if you want to say that you suspended all of these rules, then that too's all right. But it was my duty to point out to him. At this point, we might as well clarify this situation right now, because we don't want to get any further along with it. What is the wishes of the convention? Did you suspend the governing rules in regards to length of time on debate that has been adopted by the committee, or did you suspend the provision in the Constitution deferring the election of office? Now, that's where it is. Well, let's clarify it right now. We don't want to get into the woods again.
Mr. Chairman, this is J.B. Hanna. I just want a point of information. As the motion was made to just suspend the rules with no specific one rule referred to, I would take it that all the rules were suspended.
Well, it's my duty to clarify the air and get the situation cleared up. If that's what you did, that's all right, then the Brother Bruton's in order to continue on.
Mr. Chairman, as not
What's your purpose this time?
you have raised a question as to the desires of the convention. It is my opinion, and I think that the Robert Rules of Order will bear this out, that the parliamentary procedure of any organized group or association cannot be suspended for the operation thereof. Now, the procedure that we are under has been voted on. And in my opinion, we voted to suspend the order of business of the election of officers. And I believe that the convention concurs in that. If we can't, what system are we going to use for governing the convention until this suspension of rules is taken off the table?
Well, it was the chairman's fault that he wasn't any more specific than he was and placing the situation before you earlier as to whether or not you wanted to suspend the rules in regards to the order of business. That was the problem. Now, if you suspended all rules, Brother Bruton has the perfect right to stay here and talk as long as he wants to, but it was my duty to point that out. Okay, Brother Bruton.
I wish to assure the chair and delegates that I will not speak very long, but if I understand, I hope this time is not being counted against my 5 minutes that we've been engaged in, or this question here either. Brother will get Robert's rule.
Attention for a minute, please. I've just consulted with the election committee, and they feel it will be at least another hour before they're through with their tabulation. And it's my opinion that very little good could be accomplished by reconvening here at this time, so with your permission, we'll continue the recess until about 6:30. It's right at 5:30 now. Sorry. Okay, I just wanted to let you know where we are, though. I'll call the hotel over and ask them to announce in both hotels. It'll probably be about 6:30 before we can get the results and continue our business. Ray? We got a couple of things here. At arms, please ask the delegates to come inside, please. Convention will be in order, please. I suppose the first thing I should do is determine whether or not the man keeping the record of the convention is on the job. Hold it just a minute. See, are you on? Okay. Okay, we all set. At this time, we will receive the report of the election committee. I gather that applause meant only one thing a few minutes ago. Brother Edwards.
Mr. Chairman, your vice presidents are James Clark, Cam Holloway, and Ray Smith Hart. Your board members are E.L. Barnes, B.H. Bowers, Wayman Goodman, Frida Guyton, Doris Kelly, Russell McMahon, C.E. Schaefer, W.A. Stevens, Marvin Taylor, and Donald Woodall. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I know that the delegates are tired and worn out, but nevertheless, we want to, I'm sure, thank the committee for a job so well done, because they have really worked long and hard. I can assure the convention, the delegates left at least, that your executive board will certainly consider this election problem and see if we can't arrive at a better solution than the way we have had to conduct this one tonight. I saw one hand back there a few minutes ago. Where was it at? Somebody wanted the floor. Wasn't it Ike? Where was Ike at? Did Ike want the floor? Guess he gave it up. Who was that, Brother Schaefer?
Names of the candidates on the board eliminated, please.
Eliminated?
Brother Sheriff, would you name all those board members a little bit slower so we can...
Hold them off.
The executive board are E.L. Barnes, B.H. Bowers, Wayman Goodman, Frida Guyton, Doris Kelly, Russell McMahon, C.E. Schaefer, W.A. Stevens, Marvin Taylor, and Donald Woodall. I believe the question was asked, who out of the 12 was eliminated? Arthur Condia and J.B. Hanna.
Do we have any other requests of the committee? If not, the chair recognizes Brother Ferguson.
Brother Chairman and brethren, I want to congratulate the convention on the election of officers. I think you've selected people that can represent you. And I want to say further that I have enjoyed the 2 years that I've served on the board, and I'll pledge my support to the council. And I feel that you've selected people that I can work with, and I will be working with. You hadn't got rid of me by voting me out, I'll tell you that, because I'm here to stay, I'll tell you that. And you'll be hearing from me, and I'll be working with you from now on. And whoever you select for your legislative vice president, I'll probably be working with him in the legislature, and I'll grant you that we'll work hand in hand. And I wish this council much luck, and I'll be working with you from now on. Thank you.
Thank you, Red. I think the delegates here have well demonstrated their feelings for you, and that certainly we all recognize the fact that you are real trade unionists from the word go. And we will be calling upon you, I'm sure, in the future. We've never questioned your sincerity in the least bit. The unfortunate thing about these kind of situations that all of us can't win. Brother Doswell.
Brother Chairman, I am Donald Boilermaker, 693 Pascagoula. I would like to say this in honor of Brother Ferguson. I talked with my representatives at a meeting not long ago when they came down back home one weekend, met with us. And they told us that Brother Ferguson was one of the best men that the Mississippi Labor Council had on its legislative staff. And I certainly wish to thank Brother Ferguson and for all of my people in Jackson County for the splendid cooperation that he has given our representatives from Jackson County. He has done a good job. He is well liked in legislation. We're going to miss him. And they say that he is one of the best men we have there. I'd like to say that, empathize on it, and we're going to miss him from this council.
Thank you, Brother Dowsell. We have yet one other, Brother Hannah.
Mr. Chairman, this is J.B. Hannah. I regret very much that Brother Ferguson is not going to be serving in the capacity of legislative representative because I think he has done a good job. However, I don't think there's any of us that's indispensable. I want to say this, that I have contributed as much in my feeble way as I could to the progress and assistance and whatever I could to this organization myself. But evidently, maybe I was doing as much as a mule could, all he could, and that is as good as anybody could do, but it wasn't enough. So I want to say this, that the people that saw fit to eliminate me from the executive board, I hold no ill will, no animosity or ill feeling towards anyone, and that I'm still a member of the labor organization, and it'll take a lot more than a defeat from a little executive board member from the Mississippi Labor Council to move me out of the movement. And I want to say that I've appreciated and enjoyed the work that I've did with these officers and this organization, and that if the good Lord willing, I'll see some of y'all at the conference next year. So with that, I thank you.
Thank you, Brother Hannah. I don't think that there's anyone here that has ever doubted the sincerity of our good Brother Hannah. And certainly we will be calling on him from time to time. He can rest assured of that fact. I realize, of course, that the hour is getting late and possibly that the delegates are pretty well worn out, but we still have a small matter, at least one matter left for the convention to attend to. And with the consent of the convention, we'll now take that matter up. And that's simply the selection of a convention site for our next convention. Chair recognizes Brother Huff.
Mr. Chairman, Ray Huff, Chairman of the Natchez Central Labor Council, Natchez, Mississippi. I don't want to bore you here because I know we're tired, but we would like to invite this council for their next convention to have it in Natchez. We'll secure voting machines for us. We've got voting machines in Adams County.
Brother Huff might be surprised, but I made a remark back there a while ago that Natchez might be the proper place for us to take this next convention because they were, at least Natchez was the only place in the state that had voting machines, and we might be able to secure those machines.
We'll do our utmost to get those voting machines for you. But I would like to read a couple of letters here with the council's permission from the mayor and one from the Chamber of Commerce inviting this council to hold a convention there. The first one is from Troy Watkins, mayor of the city of Natchez. The city of Natchez wishes to extend a cordial invitation to the AFL-CIO State Labor Convention to hold their 1961 meeting there in our historic and beautiful city. Natchez has so many opportunities to offer which cannot be matched by any other city in the United States. We have a deep historical tradition of which all Natchezians are justly proud. At the same time, we in Natchez are keenly interested in the recent progress made in other fields. Our city is now attracting many of the statewide organizations and regional meetings such as yours to our community for their annual meetings. Natchez has been a wonderful convention town, but this tremendous growth in the convention field in the last 2 years has come about as a result of greatly improved facilities. You may be assured of complete cooperation from my office, our local Chamber of Commerce, and from our hotel and motel personnel. We feel that Natchez has much to offer in the way of genuine hospitality and sincerely hope that your group will accept the invitation of the City of Natchez and convene here in 1961, but that will be 1962 now, as I understand it. Cordially yours, Troy B. Watkins, Mayor, City of Natchez, Mississippi. We have one here from the Association of Commerce. We would like very much for you to extend an invitation to your association to hold their 1961 convention in our historic and beautiful city. In recent years, Natchez convention facilities have been improved to the extent that we now attract many of the conventions to our city. For instance, the new top of the town room on the roof of the Yola Hotel can seat 400 comfortably for a banquet. Additional meeting room space has been arranged in this hotel, and of course it is all completely air conditioned. We are extremely proud of the praise we are receiving from convention delegates on our facilities and the manner in which the conventions are serviced. Natchez, because of its many antebellum homes, its scenic location on the banks of the Mississippi River, and its many hotel and motel facilities, is ideally suited for convention attractions. If your organization will accept this invitation, we will assure you of our complete cooperation from this organization and all of our hotel and motel personnel. We hope our invitation is accepted. Sincerely, Warren Farmer, Manager, Natchez Association of Commerce. And I have one here from the manager of the hotel, but if you will bear with me, I'll read it because it does bring out a few things. It is indeed a pleasure to invite the AFL-CIO State Labor Convention to hold its 1961 meeting in historic city of Natchez. As you know, with the Eola Hotel as your headquarters, you will have ample function rooms to accommodate your group with our 2 large conference rooms for executive meetings and our 2 banquet halls. All of your activities can be handled right here quickly and smoothly. With the Natchez and Eola Hotel and the many modern up-to-date motels within 10 minutes drive from the hotel, your room accommodations will be no problem. With this group, we will give 2 complimentary rooms, one a suite and 1 regular bedroom to be assigned by your officers to whom they so desire. You can be assured of our complete cooperation, and the Eola staff will work with you in every way to make this meeting a successful one. If you should need any other information, do not hesitate to call. Sincerely, C.C. Arick, Jr., Manager. We do have 5 first-rate motels in the city of Natchez. We have 2 rather large hotels and plenty of convention rooms, and we would like to extend an invitation for this convention to be there in 1962. Thank you.
Well put, Brother Hart. Do we have any other bids for the convention?
Mr. Chairman, Fred McGee, Central Labor Union, Vicksburg. The majority of these people here today seem to me like they didn't want to see nobody else that belonged to this outfit for 2 years. We did not intend to bid for this convention if it was going to have or happen next year. But since we're not going to see each other for 2 years possibly in a convention, a Mississippi Labor Council AFL-CIO, I would like to make a bid for the convention to come back to Vicksburg, and I would like to challenge any delegate in this auditorium now that if they can show the hospitality that has been shown here, that if they can in any way compare with the hospitality that has been shown them by our mayor, by the police department, and by a little bit of work on my part, then I want to hear from them. If they cannot, then I don't want to hear from them. But until 2 years from now, I want to see all of them back over here. And I would like at this time, if the chairman, Mr. Ramsey, would tell these people how much it cost for this auditorium for 3 days that we have been here. And I'll tell you something, in Jackson, Mississippi, it cost $100 a day. In Vicksburg, Mississippi, it cost $100 a day. Mr. Chairman, would you give a report on how much this auditorium cost the Mississippi Labor Council in Vicksburg?
Well, I'd have to admit that it was free, Fred. And certainly, in behalf of the convention and of the delegates, I'd have to be the first to admit that we'd have to go a long ways to find a place that could stack up with Vicksburg, and I think that that is pretty well the sentiment of our people here tonight. Before we get any further along, I want to request that all of the newly elected officers please come up, because when we settle this question, we're going to install the officers. The election committee chairman has requested that that committee be discharged, and as far as I can see, they have completed their business, and unless someone has some objection, I shall at this time discharge the election committee with the thanks of the convention.
Mr.
Thanks
Chairman.
a lot, Brother Edwards, for that wonderful job and all that hard work.
Is a
Brother
motion in order?
Ferguson.
Is a motion in order?
A motion, well, before we get any further along, I got a couple of wires I want to read. Is this on the convention site, Red? Okay, go ahead. You got it. On the convention site.
Go ahead and read the telegrams if you want to. It's probably pertaining to the same subject, isn't it?
That's true.
Go ahead and read
But I was waiting for the delegates to put their bid in first.
Well, Brother President, I would certainly like to welcome the convention next year, or when is it? Next year or a year from now, the way it's set up.
Well, of course, under the new arrangement, we will possibly have a convention next year, a different type convention. The only difference will be that it will not be a constitutional convention. It will possibly be a legislative convention.
I wanted to say this, Brother President, that I have always contended that the years that the legislature's in session, that the convention should be in Jackson. And I think all of you know why. Of course, I'd like to visit around over the state myself, but I know that Jackson, Mississippi always welcomes any convention. And you have some telegrams there probably from Jackson. And we always invite the Mississippi Labor Council to convene in Jackson for their convention. We would like to have it there every year, but it probably would be impossible. But I would certainly like to see the convention to be held in Jackson on the years that the legislature's in session. I know in '58 when they were in session there and we had the convention, the response that we've got from the delegates contacting the representatives was wonderful. And I know all of you will agree to that. However, for your next convention, if it's this next year or whenever it is, we want to extend to you and to the convention an invitation to come to Jackson, Mississippi. You know we have facilities there that'll take care of you, and entertainment also. So any time that you can set it there, we would appreciate it to be set in Jackson, Mississippi. Thank you.
Thank you, Brother Ferguson. Do we have any other bids from any of the delegates? Brother Robbins.
Mr. Chairman, H.H. Robbins, office employees, Pascagoula. There's a motion in order in this.
Brother Robbins, I would appreciate if you'd allow me to read a couple of wires I have from Jackson concerning this matter before we decide on what your approach is. This wire was addressed to your Secretary of Treasury. Mississippi Labor Council, Vicksburg, Hotel Vicksburg, Mississippi. All King Edward Hotel personnel join of me in cordial invitation to headquarters to headquarter your 1961 convention. New convention hall open today will seat 1,300, swimming pool free to hotel guests. 3 restaurants, drive-in lobby, escalator, and complete cooperation in all your plans. Best wishes for a fine convention in Vicksburg this year. Be sure see our facilities before choosing next year's hotel. George Strum, sales manager. I think all of you remember George from last year. This wire was also addressed to Ray. All King Edward Hotel personnel join with me in cordial invitation to headquarters your 1961 convention. New convention hall open today will seat 1,300. I'm telling you, this looked like a repetition from the last one. Swimming pool free to hotel guests, 3 restaurants, drive-in lobby, escalator, and complete cooperation in all your plans. Best wishes for fine convention in Vicksburg this year. Be sure to see our facilities before choosing next year convention. I'm going to have to chew this guy out. He sent me 2 wires just alike. Anyhow, he must really want the convention. You'll have to agree with that to send us 2 wires on the same line. Do we have any other bids for the convention? Okay, Brother Robbins.
Mr. Chairman, due to the atmosphere and the hospitality we've received here in Vicksburg this year, I think that it has been given to us by the fact that the executive board has been given the opportunity of competition between various cities to invite this convention here, and the executive board saw fit to make this site. I would offer you a motion to refer this subject to the executive board for the selection of the site of our next convention.
The brothers offered a motion that this matter of choosing a convention city be referred to the executive board. Do we have a second to that motion?
Second that motion, Mr. Chairman.
We have a second to the motion. Do we have any discussion on the motion? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed by the same sign. Motion carried and so ordered. At this time, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to turn this duty that we are next confronted with over to our former chairman of the old State Federation of Labor, your good friend and mine, Brother W.L. Hines. Brother Hines will now proceed with the installation of officers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to have the officers who were elected line up in front of me here and take the oath as you have been elected. Not particular, no. I'll ask everybody to rise. First, I would be compelled to ask you elected officers, as they elected you yesterday, will you accept the position that which they elected you? You answered in the affirmative. Now I will ask you, are you willing to take upon yourself an obligation to carry out the duties of which you were elected? Are you? Well, you'll raise your right hand, and you'll use your name as I use mine, and repeat after me. I, W.L. Hines, do hereby promise to faithfully perform the duties of the office of which I have been elected,
to the best of my ability, and to perform and to the benefit and honor of the Mississippi Labor Council in the event of my resignation or removal from office or at the expiration of my term, I promise to deliver to my successor all property in my possession belonging to this council. I further promise to protect and defend the American Federation of Labor and Congress of Industrial Organization during my official term. Mr. President, I take pleasure in presenting to you this gavel of authority, of which you have been elected as chairman of this organization, and I pledge to you my cooperation along with, I'm sure, the delegates here, and wish for you a very successful, and all the rest of the officers who was elected with you. But always remember, yield that gavel in authority, but give everybody their just speech whenever they hit the floor. So in that way, you'll make a good chairman of this organization. I want you to turn around and face the delegates assembled. Brothers and sisters, here stands your elective officers for the next 2 years for this Mississippi Labor Council. I will ask you to give them a hand. Now, Mr. President, I will be as good to you as you was to me. I will return the mic over to you and let you close this meeting officially as you have been elected.
I'd like to ask the newly elected officers now to return to their seats. We will not attempt to place you on exhibition any further.
Mr. Chairman.
Brother McGee.
I'd like, just for the record, for you to tell the people how much it cost for 3 days down here in the City Auditorium, please, sir.
Brother Smithhart is the Secretary of Treasury. I think it would be appropriate for him to give the exact figure, and as much as he is the or at least was the responsible financial officer of the council. Brother Smithhart, tell the brother how much it costs to. I know, but I just want him to tell you.
Well, I had a bill as of $300, and it is marked paid by the city of, the courtesy of the city of Vicksburg. Compliments the city of Vicksburg.
Does that answer your question, Fred?
Thank you.
Okay. I realize, of course, that all of us are tired out. I'm about to fall down myself, and certainly I know that the rest of you are. And I don't intend to keep you here but a very few minutes longer. I do want to say, however, that I really appreciate the confidence that the delegates to this convention have placed in me. I don't think that I have ever had the opportunity of being with such a fine group of people, and certainly I've never received any better cooperation from a delegation than I have from this one here in this convention for the last 3 days. I just had to say that because, after all, you've done a pretty good job of keeping your chairman in the right direction. You understand what I mean? And I really appreciate that. And certainly, I want to say this, that I'm convinced that the people that assemble in this convention recognize the fact that this labor movement has got a job to do and that we are on the proper road, and we will get that job done before too much longer. And with those few remarks, that will complete my say in this convention. I would like to afford the other elected members of the board the opportunity, if they see fit, of telling you how they feel about the situation. Do we have anyone now who would like to have the floor for a few minutes? I believe, Brother Dazzle, would you like to...
I'd like to have the floor for just about half a minute.
Just that long?
And I don't know where it would be appropriate to make this into a motion, or I will let you advise me on that. But I certainly have enjoyed myself in this city, this convention. They have showed a warm welcome to us and give us every consideration. Yeah, I was in town doing some shopping this afternoon. It's plastered all over the windows down there. I hadn't had a chance to do any shopping before. It'd be closed when we leave here. But it's plastered all over the windows. Welcome to the city, the Mississippi Labor Council. And they have shown us a warm welcome, and I wonder, would I ask that the secretary either write a letter to the right officials thanking them, tell them that the delegates wish to thank them for receiving us so warm, or else put an ad in the paper telling not only the officials of the town, but the people who live here how much we appreciate coming to their city and the warm reception that they have given us. If it takes a motion, I will so order.
Brother Dazzle, a motion to that effect would certainly be in order. I can assure you that that will be done. However, it would be really appropriate if it was the desires of the convention. So I will consider that motion if you want to offer it.
I will offer that as a motion.
We have a motion that the secretary of the council be instructed to write the proper officials of the city of Vicksburg a letter of appreciation for the wonderful treatment that we received while I stay here in this fair city. Do we have a second to that motion? Second to the motion. Any discussion on the motion? We'll remember them all. Any discussion? If not, all in favor of the motion, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. All opposed by the same sign. Motion carried and so ordered. At this time, the chair will recognize your newly elected Secretary and Treasurer, Brother Thomas Knight. Brother Knight.
Mr. President, first I would like to say congratulations to you and the other fine ladies and gentlemen who were elected to serve with me these next 2 years. And I want to say to you with all my heart that I sincerely appreciate the confidence that you placed in me yesterday in electing me to this office. I thank you.
Thank you, Brother Knight. I'm convinced myself that that's the shortest speech that I've ever heard you make, and I'm really surprised. And I know that the delegates here really appreciate it. Do we have anyone else who would like to have the opportunity of addressing the convention? If not, I deem that the business of this convention is through, and that we will now rise and ask our good elected Secretary and Treasurer to adjourn this convention with a word of prayer. Brother Knight.
Our loving Heavenly Father, we bow in thy presence at this time, thanking thee for the health and strength to go through this convention, to discuss the affairs of the working people of this state. Our Heavenly Father, go with us now as we set out on this 2-year term of office. Lead us and guide us by thy divine hand, that we might protect the welfare of the working people of the state of Mississippi to the best of our ability. Heavenly Father, go with those tonight who will go on their way to their homes, protect them, and see them safely home. Our Heavenly Father, forgive us wherein we failed thee, and we'll give thee the praise. Amen.
Before you leave here, I want to say that we will have an executive board meeting in the Hotel Vicksburg at 10 o'clock in the morning. I think that the place we'll meet in will be the call room, but since I'm not positive, it's on the mezzanine floor, and we'll see you there in the morning at 10 o'clock. Thank you all. Joe? All right. I've been requested to officially release our Sergeant at Arms, and as soon as everyone is out of the building, I'll assure the good brother that he will stand released, but we might have a little trouble before that happens, so I'm not going to release him till everybody's out of the building, okay? All right, Joe.
I was trying to get somebody to demand a roll call vote on the convention site. I was trying to get somebody to demand a roll call vote on the convention site. Terminology closes.